Hey everybody, and welcome back to Book Chat.
It's all her fault.
So we're starting off this episode already with the giggles, and I'm not really sure what Lachelle's deal is because I didn't say anything funny before I hit the button. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us after we've taken like this really long personal life hiatus, but we are happy to be back, and we're really excited to kick off a new episode with how to retreat right. Like, we're really excited to talk to you guys about writing retreats or retreats in general. So, hi, I'm Tracy. That's Lashell.
Hi.
Say hi, Lashell.
Hi, Lashell.
And as you can tell, we did not lose our giddiness and our excitement and our nerves because we seem to laugh a lot when we get nervous. So, little disclosure before we start, I'm sick, so that's why I sound sick. And I know I always seem to tell you guys I'm sick, but I am. So anyway, Lashell, do you want to kind of do the general info when we start off, or do you want me to take that?
Nah, go ahead.
Go ahead. I love how much you love to talk. Oh, man. Okay, so tonight, my voice is already messing up. Tonight we are talking about writing retreats and the kind of what we did and how we did it and what we, would recommend and not recommend. So to start, I guess I should just tell you that when was it that we went on our retreat? We went on a writing retreat.
Was it July?
In July, sometime. It's actually, I think, the same week that they did RWA in California this year.
Was it?
Yeah, it was the same week because I made a joke about it being our own little mini RWA. So it was that same week. And we went to Mason, Ohio, which, because we're Ohioans, it wasn't that far away for us. So we're going to kind of talk about what we did and how we did it and all that jazz. So to start things off, our first topic tonight is the benefits of taking time away with someone who understands your craft. And I guess I'm starting because my name is first on the list. It's a lot of talking to start the show. I feel like I should have more water. Okay, so there are a lot of benefits of taking some time away with someone who does the same things that you do and who understands what you do. And I think that one of the things that I really enjoyed was to be able to sit and kind of have these conversations with Lashell about what I was writing and how I was writing, and we really bounce off of each other a lot and work with each other well. So having a fresh perspective on what I was doing and what I was writing, it's just really nice because in the outside world and your families and your friends sometimes don't quite understand your craft and they don't understand what you do. And even if they know, yeah, you're a writer, they don't understand all the craziness and the insanity that comes with not the job or the career, but the lifestyle essentially, because that's what it is. So I think it's really beneficial to have the conversation. And I think that was one of the things that I found most beneficial about going away with someone who does the same things that I do.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's nothing to compare to it. You kind of touched on this, but really, like at home, my support system is my husband and my mother, and they're great. They're wonderful cheerleaders, but they just, they don't speak the language, so to speak, and they don't understand what all I go through to produce a book, to write the story, to self-publish it, to market myself, that kind of thing. And it's really getting the chance to spend some time one-on-one or even, with a small group or whatever, just your tribe, your people, the people who do the same things you do and they get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that
it's valuable.
You touched on something there that I think is so important. And I think it's something that everyone, especially writers or anybody who really works at home understands, is everybody just kind of assumes, you write a book, oh, it's so easy. You just sit down at the computer and you type some words and your book is done. And I think they do understand the amount of work that goes into it. And I'm not just saying when you're writing a book. I don't think anyone understands the amount of work that goes into anything if they don't actively do that thing.
Right.
So it's very important to have someone who understands exactly what you're doing and what you're going through. And essentially, if you're going to take a retreat, even if it's not a writer's retreat, if you're going to take a retreat, do it with someone who fully understands what you're going through so that you can, I guess, essentially get the best out of your time. Excuse me. And the next pointer that we were going to be talking about was that you're obviously going to have a place to retreat. There's obviously a reason that you're leaving home. For us, I think leaving home was kind of I can't get any work done. For me, it was in the middle of the summer. Joseph was out of school, and I'm pulling my hair out because I'm like, I have an office at home, and yet I'm not getting anything done. So I think, Lashell, you were kind of the same way. You just weren't getting as much done as you wanted to.
Right. Like you said at the top of the show, personal life has really been a challenge in 2016. So
yes, it has. Yeah.
So just carving out a weekend was like a major production.
So okay, so you come up with the time, but then you're left questioned. You're like, where do we go now? Like, what do? We got to get away from home. And I think that one of the really important things that you need to figure out is what's comfortable for you and the person that you're traveling with, or people that you're traveling with. Because it'd be really nice if we could drop like thousands or millions of dollars, to take this lavish vacation and, go on a really cool writing retreat in like New Zealand or something. We should do that, Lashell.
Yeah.
But we're not millionaires. And I can't say that I know any millionaires. So we have to be very realistic about your budget. So whatever you can afford and whatever you're comfortable with, I think is essentially what you need to kind of let those be your guidelines and go with that. All I really cared about was having a sufficient place to get some work done. Mm-hmm. And for me, it was just like, if I have a place to sleep, and I have a place that I can eat, and those can be the same things. Like I can eat in bed, I don't care. As long as I have those two things and my laptop, I want to get some work done. That's all that matters. So location wasn't really a big deal for me. I just wanted to make sure I was close enough to home that I could get home if we happen to have an emergency, mm-hmm. but far enough away from home that I'm not going to be tempted to turn around and go back just because.
Check in, yeah.
Yeah, so for me, it was close, but not too close.
Yeah. And really, I think we were in total agreement that, anywhere that you can find some quiet is perfect place for a retreat. Mm-hmm. It would be nice if you could find some, fancy resort with a beautiful view and, little nooks to sit in and all of that, but really all you need is a quiet hotel room.
No, really, I mean, you don't need much more than that. We didn't need much more than that, but it really comes down to what works for you, what works for your partner, what works for everyone.
Here's a tip. Here's a place where there's food, sustenance, where you don't have to worry about that, like who's going to cook tonight, who's going to do the cleanup, all of that stuff. You don't want to be worried with that because it's gonna that kind of stuff, that kind of mundane everyday stuff is gonna get in the way of the creative flow that you want to.
Yeah, I think the most food cleanup that we really had to worry about was who's going to eat the last piece of pizza and then fight over that. Like, I don't think we had too much to worry about where that was concerned.
It's a place that has restaurants nearby.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good point. I didn't even put that in my notes, but I think that's actually a really good point because the last thing that you want to do is be stressed about what are you going to eat and who's going to clean it up and who's doing the dishes and that stuff's just, don't let everyday life get in the way of your retreat. That's another good point. Don't let your everyday life get in the way of your retreat. Put the phone away for a while and get stuff done.
Yeah.
Get her accomplished. All right. What's the next point? Oh, okay. So what to bring? What to bring on your retreat? One of us, I'm not going to say which one of us, but one of us.
What'd I do?
One of them. It wasn't you. One of us had this really genius idea to bring a power strip or surge protector. How many outlets? We have like six or eight extra.
Yeah.
With us, take a surge protector, plug it into your hotel room or your cabin or wherever it is that you're staying.
Tip ever. Write that down. Everybody, write that down.
Yeah, write it down because that's the one that it's going to be the biggest lifesaver. I don't know why I did it. I was just like packing up my bag and I was like, hey, we might need that, and just threw it in there. And I'm so glad that we did. So take one and plug it into a neutral zone. Don't be selfish. You don't need 8 outlets. Like, plug it into a neutral zone. We put ours on the nightstand between our 2 beds. We were able to plug in both of our computers, our cell phones, iPods or Kindles or whatever else we had. We didn't blow any fuses, which is good. But if you bring one and you have all of these extra outlets, you're not worried about trying to move your bed to find a place to plug everything in, or not having enough cord to sit where you want to sit if you're typing or whatever. So bring one. It's oh my gosh, it's amazing. I'm lost for words. It was such a genius idea that I amazed myself.
It was a genius idea.
I amazed myself beyond the point of having words. Anywho, so on the note of things to bring,
yeah,
I just turned a surge protector into like a 10-minute tip. Anyway, also things that you might want to bring: some snacks, because somehow food was not on our brain when we decided to go on our trip. Somehow neither one of us thought, hey, let's pack some snacks. So we did waste a little bit of time driving around and trying to figure out where we could buy some snacks.
Yeah, finding a grocery store.
Maybe not a really bad idea to pack some cat treats in case you guys have a stray cat come to your door, because we did, and I wasn't prepared, and it wouldn't follow me into the hotel room. So get some treats and lure those cats in. Anyway, let's see, what's my next point? I guess my whole, on the point of what to, am I okay to talk about this yet? Yeah, so things to bring and things to leave at home. So things to leave at home. I'm a hot mess over here. I'm looking at my notes.
You might want to bring, and this is just a good tip for writers. Whether you're going on a retreat or not, pack a little notebook and a pen. Because I personally, I get an idea, I jot something down, and then I don't forget.
I think a lot of writers. I just spit all over myself. I think a lot of writers typically carry a pen and some paper anyway. But
I didn't start doing it until fairly recently. It's like,
really,
my life. Yeah. Yeah.
It will change your life.
Yeah, it will. It really will, because I was just like flipping through one and came across like a story idea. It was like, oh yes, I remember writing that down.
And now you can write the story. So
not to bring.
Oh yeah, things not to bring.
Things not to bring. I made this mistake. I brought my Kindle on the off chance that I would have some time to like read for fun. That was just a goofy move, because it just took up space in my bag and it made my bag heavier. And there was never any time to read for fun, because really you're there to work anyway. This is a retreat. Yes, you should have fun on a retreat with your writing buds, but you're there to work. So that's a good distinction to make, or to point out.
That's actually, really smart, because I would really have liked to have sat down and read a book while I was there, but work. So anyway, like things that you shouldn't want to bring. Okay, anyway, things that you might not want to bring. All of the extra stuff. I'm really bad about packing extra everything. So I had like 6 extra pair of contacts and a pair of backup glasses in case the ones that I had on were gonna like snap into. And we were gone for 2 days. And I think it's just super important to leave that extra stuff at home. If you can wear the same outfit a couple of times, or wear the same pair of shoes with every single outfit. Just reduce, reuse, and recycle every single thing that you bring, because less is more. You don't want to be
sorry about that. My phone.
See, I was nice enough to turn my volume down on my phone. He turned hers way up and then set it right next to the microphone. She's so rude. Was there anything else that you wanted to touch on? Things to bring or things not to bring? You don't think so? Okay. Oh, I about knocked my pens down. So our next topic was how to utilize your time once you start your retreat. And I think that it was really important. We set into this whole thing with a really clear objective in mind, and that was work until our eyes bleed. And we did. But the most important thing that I think that you can do, and Lashell, if you don't agree, feel free to stop me. But we sat down and had a really long conversation, first thing, about what we wanted to accomplish while we were away. And we made sure that the other person knew what we were working on, what our goal for each day was. And that way we could hold each other accountable, make sure we were staying on track, and make sure that we were working towards our goals. And if we weren't, find a way to help each other, because that's kind of what we're there for. We're there to kind of work together and bounce those ideas off of each other. So I think the most important thing to do if you want to utilize your time well is have that conversation. It might be a long conversation at first, kind of takes a chunk of time out of your work time, but make sure you know what you're working on and what everyone else around you is working on. That way there are never any questions about, am I staying on track? Are they staying on track? Am I distracting them too much? We found a lot of ways to distract each other, but at the end of the day, we still made sure we were able to. I know that I don't know, my brain's all scattered.
No, you're doing good.
Okay.
That conversation is really, really important to have, because we, like you said, we were able to keep each other accountable, and we were able to, when one of us got stuck, like I personally was stuck on this problem in my book, and talking about it helped a lot. So it's just a really good conversation to have.
I know that there are a lot of people who have this train of thought that when you go into a retreat, there need to be like these carved timelines that you carve out. This time to this time is what you're working on this. And this time to this time you're working on this. Don't talk to your partner. Don't bother anybody else. Don't pick up your phone. Don't eat anything. Every little minute is kind of accounted for. I guess if that works for you, go for it. But it kind of worked for us to just kind of have this very laid back, casual, if we need to turn around and talk to each other for a minute, to say, hey, can you stop for a second? Or are you in a place where you can stop for a second? Because I'm stuck and I need help. If that works for you, that's awesome too. So I guess you can have some really hard rules and say, hey, we're not going to help each other till the end of the day. So if you need help, set it aside. Or you can agree that, hey, if we need to interrupt each other, we can. And I guess that's a part of that conversation that you need to have. How are we going to spend our time? That way everyone's comfortable with how the time is being spent.
Right. And after we had our initial conversation about what we were working on, we really did just kind of buckle down and work the whole time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I think I didn't write this in my notes. I think that it's really important to also have this discussion, especially if you're sharing a room with somebody, we were kind of doing all of this stuff on the fly. But have the discussion about, when are we going to turn in for the night? When are we going to wake up? How much sleep do you need so that you can be productive? And how much sleep can I get if you're going to be up all night? Like, try to figure out what works for everyone, especially if those people are sleeping in the same room with you. Because I know Lashell could write all night long, and I would be happy to be in bed by 8:30 every night. So it's kind of, you have to find this balance and this mix and have that conversation, and then you can get to work.
I don't think I was too unbearable, was I?
No.
Translation, yeah.
No, honestly, I mean, I think we were both so excited about having some quiet time and some time away that I think it was the final night we were there, we agreed we're going to stay up till midnight, and we're going to get up at 5, and we're going to start all over, because we're going to work 5 to 11, and then we're going to hightail it out of here at checkout, and not a moment sooner. And we did. We stayed until checkout, and then we got lost. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you guys can agree on how to spend your time, that would be awesome. And if you can't, probably shouldn't be retreating together.
Yeah, that's a good tip too. Pick a partner that you know you'll get along with. That's important.
Yeah.
That is important. That said, though, I would have enjoyed like setting aside maybe 30 minutes a day just to kind of chill. You know, there was this really pretty park with a gazebo, and we really didn't take advantage of that at all. And we should have.
I took a picture of it in passing, but I never actually went over to it.
Yeah.
Didn't experience it. The most that I left the room was for food, surprisingly. And I mean, I wish that I would have, or that we both would have taken some, even if it was just like a half hour out of each day to just get out of the room, because we kind of were going a little stir crazy in there. But it's okay. We got a lot done.
We really did.
Yeah. Yeah. So then we're moving on to kind of the next point, which is something that we already talked about, kind of touched on, as we were there for a couple of days. But how long is long enough for a writing retreat, or for a retreat of any kind? I guess, again, it kind of boils down to, what are you comfortable with? How long can you be away from your family or your responsibilities or your obligations, your work, you know, whatever it is that you do. So it's one of those, what are you comfortable with? But having said that, I will put in my 2 cents and say 2 nights was not enough.
Yeah, I agree.
2 nights was nowhere near enough, because we had those clear objectives when we started, and yet by the time we really hit our stride, we were in that last stretch right before we had to pack up, load up the car, and go. Yeah. And I feel like we could have accomplished so. Okay, I didn't turn my phone off. I thought you can call me rude. You can call me rude now. So I feel like a couple, if you have like 2 or 3 extra days to throw on those 2 days.
Yeah, I'm going to say 3 days, maybe even 4 would probably be ideal.
I would say 3 days minimum. And then 3 days minimum, and then go from the 3 nights minimum, and then go from there and figure out what works for you. Hey, Lashell.
Yep.
What do you wear on one of these retreats?
You wear something comfortable. That's what you wear to a retreat. I wore all the wrong stuff.
Yes, she did.
Let me just say that. I wore like I wore jeans and, you know, stuff that you put on to like go see people, like not dressy stuff, but you know, I should have been more like you and just worn, you know, sweats and stuff that I'd normally wear around the house to write in.
I think that that's actually, I mean, not the be more like Tracie idea, but the idea of whatever it is that you wear when you're working at home or working wherever it is that you work, wear that while you're on your retreat. Because if you're comfortable sitting at home in, you know, your underwear and writing,
maybe not your underwear.
maybe not your underwear, but I mean, wear what makes you comfortable and what other people on your retreat can tolerate. So, you know, like throw on some yoga pants and, you know, a really comfortable shirt, and don't be so worried about what you look like, because no one's going to see you except for the people you're with, and they've probably already seen you at your worst. So just a thought. You know, let's face it, you're not at a conference. You're not trying to make anyone, like, impress anyone.
Right, exactly. There are no agent appointments.
Right. Yeah, you're literally buckling down and working, so who cares what you look like? Lashell, what would you do differently if you had a chance to like go on another retreat, which we're going to do later this year, or we're talking about doing later this year? What would you do differently next time?
I would wear different clothing, that's for sure. Other than that, I would really sit down and form like a clearer picture of, or a clearer idea of what I wanted to accomplish during the retreat. I don't feel like I did that going into this one, and I think that would have helped me a lot.
Before, as in, you would have a clearer idea before you leave, of what you wanted to accomplish?
Mm-hmm. Like, remember, you know, when we got there and we had that conversation about what we were working on, you know, I was really struggling, remember?
Right.
I would try to have a clearer picture of, you know, where I was headed, where my story was headed.
Right. Yeah. It opened up a lot of conversation though. So I kind of like the idea of maybe not necessarily knowing what you're working on going in there, because it was some nice conversation.
It was.
I think if, you know, going into it again, doing things differently, the only thing that I would really change is kind of doing a little more research on the location. I was very excited about finding a place that was close but not too close. But I didn't really look around to see kind of what was around the area. And I'm not really concerned with tourist attractions or pretty scenery or anything. But, you know, grocery stores, gas stations, restaurants, places that'll deliver pizza, you know, things that are important and essential. Yeah. We didn't really look into that stuff, so we took a lot of our time while we were on our retreat driving around, trying to find restaurants.
Time looking for that grocery store. We did.
Yeah, looking for the grocery store. Even with GPS, we're not that smart. So, you know, we wasted, I would say, hours, several hours, worrying about things like food and where we're going to go and how we're going to get there. If we would have done that stuff beforehand, we would have had a few more hours to work. So a little bit of research goes a long way. And I think that it'd be really important to make sure you know exactly what is around you, you know, and all of the pizza places that deliver, so that you don't have to keep ordering from the same spot and they think you're a loser. So as we go into the close of the show, it was a really kind of a short show tonight. But I feel like we still talked about a lot. As we go into the close of the show tonight, Lashell, what are you reading right now?
I am reading a book. Let me see if I can bring it up for you. My Kindle here. I am reading a book called, can you see that? It's called The Guitarist.
That's a pretty cover.
Yeah, it's called The Guitarist by Lindy Hudis. And it's a rock star romance, but it's also it's got like a paranormal twist to it.
Oh, nice. So it's kind of right up your alley in a few different ways.
Right up my alley.
It's rock star, it's romance, it's paranormal, it's got it all. I'm really bad, and I didn't do my homework, which was make sure that I was reading a book by the time we went live. So that I had something to recommend. So I don't have anything to recommend, but I can tell you I have been reading a lot of cultural anthropology books.
Really? Why is that?
I'm back in school. I'm a student again. So, you know, trying to finish that degree I started like 1,000 years ago. And strangely enough, very much so enjoying cultural anthropology. Never thought that was something I would say, but yeah, I'm totally digging it. I'm digging it. You know what? I swear. Okay.
We're such geeks.
Well, my brain went to, we just talked about physical anthropology and archaeologists. I totally dig it. All right. So, Lashell, is anything you'd like to plug tonight, darling?
Sure. I just, a couple of hours ago, set up a pre-order for my next book.
Oh, yay. Tell me more.
It's called Fated Moon, and it's book 2 of the Rogue Moon series.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'll post links and everything for pre-orders everywhere tomorrow.
So in other words, if you haven't read the first one, read the first one, then pre-order the second one.
There you go.
And then nag her relentlessly to write the third one and the fourth one and the fifth one.
Right.
Yeah, do that. So are you done plugging? Have I taken over your airtime?
No, I'm done.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I just released the first book in my Sutton Woods series, and it's called Stuck in the Moment.
Look at that pretty cover.
Look how pretty. So each book, it features one of 4 best friends and each of their love stories. And the first book is Allie's story, and it is out now everywhere. And you can pre-order the second book, Where You Belong, on iBooks and on Amazon right now. So if you've read the first one and you want to pre-order the second one, you can. And if you haven't read the first one, read it, and then pre-order the second one. So that's my plug for the night. We have upcoming shows. Lashell, what are you going to be talking about next month? I stumped her.
No, you didn't. I remembered. next month, I'm going to be interviewing an author named Tracie Puckett.
That's me.
That is
What
you.
will you guys be talking about?
We're going to be talking about her Sutton Woods series, among other things.
Yay! And then the month after that, I'm going to be interviewing somebody. It's you! I kind of dig this. I dig it. That's my new thing. I dig this Tracie and Lashell vibe we have going on right now. I'm digging it. So we are going to be talking about, oh man, let me list off the things we're going to be talking about.
Uh-oh.
Rock stars.
Ooh.
Both real and fictional.
I like that topic.
We're going to be talking about paranormal things such as werewolves.
Ooh, I like that topic too.
We're going to be talking sexy cops.
I like that topic too.
Both real and fictional. Yeah, it's going to be a great show. I'm very excited. So
I'm very afraid.
I know we have another show planned for September, October. Yeah, we have more shows planned. Off the top of my head, I don't remember what they are. So I'm doing a really bad job of plugging our shows right now. But it's okay. So look forward to our next few shows. It's going to be fun. The next two are especially going to be fun because we're actually going to be digging into what we do and what we write and our books. And I'm going to stop talking because I have to talk a lot tonight. So it's your turn. Just talk to everyone.
I say other than good night, everybody.
Oh, okay. We're saying good night then. So later, Gators. We will see you next month.